情获得的8个启示 8 revelations obtained from the Wuhan pandemic. Xiefeng, February 9th, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. All things and phenomena are books without words. Reading from them is communicating directly with the greatest creator. The Wuhan coronavirus is such a phenomenon. So what revelations can we gain from it? Unexpected things can happen at any time. So do not be arrogant when you are at a high point in life, nor discouraged at a low point, because when you wake up, you will find that everything spins in the opposite direction. The most important thing in life is to act now, when it is calm, not later, because we may not have the chance to fulfill our wishes in the future. No matter how talented you are, you might be helpless. When you are helpless, the money, power, status, and material wealth you have will not help you, nor will even your friends, relatives, and well-connected associates. You can only rely on the greatest creator and yourself. Regardless of whether the virus is arranged by gods, spread from animals, or artificially created, things happen with inevitability and everything is inevitable. This is a truth that we discovered when we explored the mysteries of the universe, that since everything is inevitable, our life and death have already been planned out. If we have enough merits, then Tao would have long since arranged for us to be in a safe zone. If we lack having enough of them, then we cannot hide from our misfortunes. No matter how we try to avoid them, we cannot prevent them. Understanding this, we can face the developments and changes of things calmly and with neither panic nor fear. To die right now is not necessarily a bad thing, and to continue living is not necessarily a good thing. Isolation has been a good way to prevent plagues since ancient times, but lockdowns of roads, villages, and cities is definitely not a good strategy. Lockdowns will cause suffocation and coldness. We should let love go to every corner and spread warmth everywhere. When we shut people out from affected areas, despair will not only envelope others, but it will also make the world colder. The world is still cold, and people are still very selfish. This can be seen from the evacuation of Chinese people from overseas countries, disallowing people from entering countries, and closures of roads, villages, communities, and cities where people have become so cold and selfish that they cannot feel even a trace of warmth. Therefore, each of us should think about how to let the light of love shine everywhere and let love warm everyone's hearts. Otherwise, people will never reach the pinnacle of civilization. At critical moments, people will find that it is not those who we want and expect to help us who will, but those who are strangers. We therefore realize that within our lifetime, we should not spend our time and energy on establishing relationships with a small group of people. Rather, we should treat everyone we meet equally and respect everyone who we have the fortune to meet because we do not know who can and will really help us when we need them to. Good fortune lies within bad. Bad fortune lurks within good. The darker the hour, the nearer the dawn. So everyone should hold to their beliefs, faiths, and consciences. I have asked more than 100 Chanyuan celestials what they would do if one of them was infected with the virus. Fortunately, 70% of the young ones answered without hesitation that they would neither betray nor shun them, but that they would take care of the infected member and give the hope of life to their brother or sister even at the risk of death to themselves. What do you think of our Chanyuan spirit? 从习性判断未来趋势 Judging future trends from habits. Xiefeng, January 16th, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. One who was injured at a specific spot on their body is more likely to be injured on that same spot in the future. Those who fail at one thing are more likely to fail in many more things in the future. Those who lie once will lie again in the future. Those who kill once are apt to kill again in the future. Those who divorce once are likely to divorce again. Miscarrying increases the chances of it happening a second and third time in the future. Those who steal successfully once will do it again in the future. Those who have an affair will take advantage of opportunities to repeat them with others in the future. Those who accept a bribe once will continue to accept more bribes. Those who have given up on an opportunity once are apt to give up future opportunities that present themselves. Those who betray you once will betray you many times. First-time casino gamblers will return in the future. Those who are hurt by something once will be haunted by its fear and remain afraid of it forever. Those who discard their promise once will do so again and again. Those who are arrogant in expression, behavior, or language will remain so. Those who are careless about one thing will be so about many other things. A first-time deceiver will deceive many times again. Once in a cell, a person is more likely to enter another cell. Those who have doubted one thing will doubt many other things. Those who have been struck by lightning once will likely be stricken again. Those who have been fooled once are more likely to be fooled again in the future. If you swallow your anger once and a similar thing happens, you will do it again. Being unreasonable once will lead to being unreasonable many more times. If you break a precept once, then you will do it many more times. If you fail the first time, then failing the second, third, and all future times will become progressively easier. People who and things that make you uncomfortable the first time will never set you at ease in the future. Those who cannot do small things well will do more important things just as poorly. Those who are not hygienic will be sloppy in other aspects of life and cannot be quick. Those who do not finish what they start will procrastinate on everything. Those who made you sad once will repeat it again and again. Those who lack enthusiasm and passion will never develop them in the future. Those who let you down once will do so every time. Those who have schemed will continue to do so in the future. Those who are very attached to things are bound to stumble over them. Those who get fight germs poorly will become more easily infected with the passage of time. Those who believe they are right will never admit to being wrong. Those who find falsity, evil, and ugliness easily will never survive in a world of truth, goodness, and beauty. Habits make things become natural. When they become natural to you, they become your characteristics, which will be difficult to change. Therefore, a person's future developmental trends can be judged from their habits. 性自由是初级自由，也是终极自由. Sexual freedom is primary freedom and ultimate freedom. Xiefeng, November 19, 2019. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Care. Give me liberty or give me death. Liberty, love? For my love, I would sacrifice life. These two I need. For liberty, I will sacrifice my love. Life's ultimate goal is its pursuit of freedom. Why are people afraid of hell? Because it has no freedom. Why do people yearn for heaven? Because it has total freedom. What one longs for in jail is freedom. It is more precious than money, power, status, reputation, mansions, luxury cars, delicacies from land and sea, or top-brand clothing. Why do people not want to be slaves? Because slaves have no freedom. Why do they want to become celestials and Buddhas? Because those entities have more freedom. Can people ever get enough freedom? No. Only lives higher than ours can be fully free. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights says that all human beings are born free and everyone has the right to liberty. So what is freedom? Freedom means that one's will is fully exerted and displayed. We are members of societies, no more influential than drops of water in the oceans. It is impossible to fully exert and display one's own will, because the freedom of one person can easily conflict with that of another, so everyone must be restrained. Theoretically, the role and value of contracts, regulations, laws, constitutions, and so forth are to protect everyone's freedoms to the maximum, so everyone must act within their scope. Beyond this scope, freedom would lead to chaos and war, so then absolute freedom would lead to absolute restraint. Freedom is a high-level life state. People cannot have total freedom. For example, they cannot have the freedom to burn, kill, rob, deceive and swindle, humiliate, attack, slander or frame others, defecate in public places, hurt others, and so on. Individuals cannot have complete freedom. They can only pursue freedoms that have little potential for conflict with others, society, and nature, such as those of migration, imagination, thought, their pursuit of life in heaven, freedom from death, of labor and creation, and sexual freedom. Among all the freedoms, the first freedom that people should pursue is sexual freedom because without it, all the other freedoms are illusory and unreal, not ultimate, short-lived, and ineffective solutions. Sexual freedom is both primal and ultimate. In other words, sexual freedom is the core of all freedoms and the others are marginal. To pursue freedom, the first one to pursue is always sexual. What is sexual freedom? When it comes to sex, we should not narrowly restrict it to male and female sexual intercourse. Master Bodhidharma clearly pointed out in his bloodstream sermon that nature, same word as sex in Chinese, is Buddha. When someone has sexual freedom, they are Buddha. Therefore, the meaning of sexual freedom is to be able to exist and live fully according to the Creator's intention. According to Chanyuan values, it means having the ability to exist and live according to the way of nature. For example, to see with one's eyes is a freedom of human nature. Eyes are for seeing, so if their function to do that were forbidden, that would be restricting and depriving one's freedom of nature. If one is prohibited from singing when they want to, they would lose some of their freedom of nature. Another example is that everyone has reproductive organs with purposes. They are not only used for excretion and procreation, but also for enjoying sexual pleasure. Restricting one's enjoyment of sexual pleasure is restricting their nature. If one fully enjoys sexual pleasure, it can be said that they have gained sexual freedom. There will always be those who, whenever sexual freedom is mentioned, will immediately think of sexual openness, carnalism, debauchery, lewdness, promiscuity, pimps, sluts, adulterers, fornication, and the like. These are purely assumptions and imaginings of the savage and foolish, or the expected understandings of men with brutish natures. Sexual freedom is the artistic blooming and enjoyment of the nature of the civilized, not the delicacy of scrambling barbarians. Some people attribute AIDS and other STDs, family breakdowns, and similar consequences to sexual freedom, but this is the same as attributing diseases to food, which makes no sense. If you compare sexual freedom to flying, you cannot deny or travel because planes have crashed. It can be said that other freedoms can only exist after sexual freedom has been obtained. Without sexual freedom, those others are empty talk. One's degree of life quality is closely related to their level of freedom. The higher their quality of life, the greater their freedom. When we look at nature, we find that animals are freer than plants. We are freer than animals. Celestials and Buddha are freer than us, and gods are freer than celestials and Buddha. To pursue freedom, we must first pursue sexual freedom. However, if one does not perfect their soul garden and does not possess the qualities of sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and honesty, then they absolutely cannot enjoy sexual freedom. In short, people cannot enjoy sexual freedom fully. This is determined by the quality of our species. If anyone can truly enjoy sexual freedom, congratulations, you are no longer a human being. You have elevated yourself to the status of a celestial or beyond. 知音哪里找? Where to find a bosom friend? Xiefeng. March 2nd, 2020. Translated by Qin and edited by Bandy. Where can one find a bosom friend? It's so hard to find a bosom friend in life. One true bosom friend is enough for a lifetime. It is easier to make a lot of money and be rich, but very difficult to find a bosom friend. One may have many friends but has no bosom friend. A bosom friend is very rare, like a gem. You cannot ask nor work to get it. There was no traveler on the ancient road till I met you in the cold mountains. The smile for seeing you is still on my face. We are saying farewell and weeping in a twinkle. Late at night in the candle light with your company is like dreaming. A bosom friend far away brings a distant land near. Without any word, my heart is drunk. No need for wine. Feel my heart. You will know how deep my memories are. In a watery region, I have nothing to give you as a memorial, so I will give you a plum blossom. In memory of Zhongziki, Boya won't play any music again. These are visions of a bosom friend. Where can we find a bosom friend? We cannot find a bosom friend in the official, business place, casino, or battlefields. No bosom friend can be found among family, friendship, friends, classmates, or colleagues. No bosom friend can be found in political parties, religious organizations, family, relatives, various groups. We cannot find a bosom friend in contracts, agreements, courts, markets, or bars. In a word, wherever interests are entangled, no bosom friend can be found. Where is my bosom friend? Bosom friend is in your life channel, in your soul, in your spirit, and in your happily playing with your friends. Bosom friend is like a flower. You can only appreciate it. You never pluck it. Bosom friend is like water. You follow its flow and should not set standards for it. A bosom friend is elegant, free, and unrestrained. We should never have the desire to possess them. Bosom friend is like honey, sweet and mellow. It can only be sweet in the soul, in the spirit, and shouldn't be contaminated with a trace of dust. Absolutely beautiful things can only be enjoyed by absolutely beautiful lives. If we do not reach an absolutely beautiful state, it will never be possible for us to enjoy the nourishment of a bosom friend. We cannot beg for a bosom friend. We cannot buy a bosom friend. We cannot keep them by relationship, and we cannot kidnap them in the name of love. A bosom friend features an abundance of affection, but we should not attach to affection. Since times immemorial, affectionate people always suffer the most emotionally. Once you don't see each other for many days, you start to realize the place where you have spared from or maybe drunken stupor. The riverside is strewn with willow trees. The morning breeze wafts in with a waning moon. All day long, I expect you, but somehow, you are not back. Flower petals drifting, water flowing. I haven't seen you for so long. The Xiang River looks boundless, cut, severed and sorted. Messier still, this is the parting woe. Bosom friends are rare in the world. Only abound in Chanyuan. Clambered up the snowy peak and looked over the rivers. The mountain flowers are blooming. 连点赞都不给你好吝啬. You are stingy without giving likes. Xiefeng. February 19th, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Bandy. There are more than 200 contacts on my WeChat. Every time when I forward or post an article, very few people like the article. People who always like the articles are only 30. The other 170 people never likes. The Bible says in the Gospel of Matthew 11:16 and 17. But what comparison may I make of this generation? It is like children seated in the marketplaces, crying out to one another and saying, We made music for you, and you did not take part in the dance. We gave cries of sorrow, and you made no signs of grief. I am the incarnation of Jesus, and I will describe this passage of Jesus in a plain and simple way again. How should I describe you? I sang for you, you didn't clap your hands. I offered you a spiritual feast, and you didn't make any response. Is it so difficult to give a like? Giving a like won't make you pregnant or turn you into a pig. Since you are in contact with me, it proves that it is predestined. There is friendship between us. Since you have not deleted me, it proves that you are still willing to keep in touch with me. Why not give me a like from time to time? Even if you give me a like once in a week or once after 10 of my articles, at least I can know that you are still alive through the likes. Do you know why you are not willing to give me a like? The answer is stingy. You lack spiritual and soul wealth, indifferent, or you are no longer in this world. If you don't want to dedicate as much as lifting a finger, do you think you can have a bright future? Giving likes does not necessarily mean that you agree with the value and contents of the articles your friends forwarded. It is just an expression of, I care about you. Our beautiful future is accumulated by giving and dedication. If you are too stingy to give likes to friends, can you imagine how far you have fallen? Think about it carefully. When one day you are in trouble and no one come to help you, and when you reincarnate in the plant or animal world and unable to speak, don't blame the greatest creator for being unfair. That's because you are too stingy to give a like to friend, not to mention to offer other help. 微信群里大都是强奸犯. People mostly are rapists in the WeChat groups. Xiefeng. March 8th, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Bandy. What's the day today on Earth? So many WeChat groups. The epidemic howling again. The crowds are frantic with dreadful and painful memories. Daily routine should be the same. Only that the mind has changed already. How idle are you? Drifting in the WeChat groups all day. I have been in many WeChat groups, but I quit from them one by one. Why? Because I was raped by WeChat group friends. For example, when I joined a new WeChat group, I firstly said greetings and blessings to all friends here. As a result, very few people responded. In a group of nearly 500 people, almost no one paid attention to me. I was confused. Are they all dead here? There is no echo in this empty valley, just like a tomb will not respond back to me. Anyhow, I will stay and see what are people doing here. As a result, I was bombarded indiscriminately. The WeChat group is fishier than the seafood market. What is in the seafood market is at least something from the water, but the WeChat group is like a rubbish shopping mall with everything in it, which is dazzling and dizzying. There are Big God, Main Buddha, bricklaying specialist, same pronunciation as expertise in Chinese, superior. Teachings of every religion and system of philosophy, Taoist magic. Those are from heaven, underground, water, mountains, history, current, philosophy, technology, even from the gutter. Everything you can imagine, especially those superiors, they are very clever, cleverer than Mr. Clever, than the village named Very Clever. They are all masters, level figures, big shit, same pronunciation as big master in Chinese, whom I do not dare to provoke, and I cannot afford to. I observed it carefully for a long time, and finally discovered the mystery. The WeChat group is a place for people who have nothing to do but to show their existence. They all talk to themselves, feel good about themselves, arrogant, self-conscious, making aimless judgment, incapable of doing great things, but don't want to do small things, having strong feelings of I am the number one in the world. If I can't do it, who can? Very bored but want to be blockbusters and all-powerful big shots. Why did I say that I was raped? Because whether I like it or not, people throw the fragmented things that they think are good toward my retina. And at this moment, they want me to go with the Buddha. Another moment, they want me to follow Jesus. For a while, they ask me to follow the party. Another while, they ask me to follow Tao. I was confused and lost. Don't know where to go. What's more, lots of small pictures were piled up before me, whether I like it or not. Isn't this rape? In the WeChat group, what I fear most is not the above, but the teachings of high morals. Using the most beautiful words, they taught me how to be a human being, how to improve my spirituality, how to become a Buddha, how to live forever, how to win the universe. They even taught me how to walk, whether I should take my left foot first or the right foot first. Your grandpa. You have said all good things. I guess you have also done all bad things. What do you call this? This is called moral kidnapping, belief kidnapping, positive energy kidnapping. Looking back on my past, I found that I am not a good person myself. I have also done this before. No wonder some people call me preach, someone call me a shrew, and some suspect that the purpose of my hype on the internet to promote life genuine is to cheat money and sex. Thinking about it, it seems really this case. I saw countless people are following in my footsteps. I am not good person, and you probably aren't good person either. Is there any good stuff in the WeChat group? The answer is yes, there is, but very rare. It is harder to find good thing here than to find diamonds in the forest. A WeChat group must be a place for the exchange of ideas and emotions. If a WeChat group is not for communication, but to show off, to spread and peddle your garbage ideas and garbage works, and to transfer thing that you don't understand from one group to another, to copy a large number of small pictures, then the WeChat group is a tragedy. If you don't believe me, check yourself. People who always talk about gods and deities are in the WeChat group. People who are brainless are checking WeChat group all day long. All people who have nothing to do are muddling along in WeChat group. All people who goof around and want to make troubles are in WeChat group. People who love quarrels are in WeChat group. Crooks are in WeChat group. People who want to be a blockbuster are in WeChat group. And people who want to pick up treasure in garbage dump are also in WeChat group. I have said so many bad things about WeChat group. In fact, WeChat groups have a powerful function, that is, its high speed of information dissemination, especially when disseminating of scandals. If you are not careful enough, you might be drowned by the spit of WeChat groups. WeChat group is also a monster revealing mirror. Gods, Buddhas, angels, bodhisattva and demons, ghosts, spirits, all are performing, and will all in the end show their original forms in WeChat groups. And their followers will also go to their ways. The cattle enter their bull pen. The pigs enter their pig pen, and the mice dig their holes. WeChat group, I am afraid of you. You occupy a lot of my precious time. You deprive me of the right to be filial to the elderly, to take care of the children and to delve into learning. You have transformed me into a walking corpse with indigestion, and you have made a lot of strange animals like parrots who can only copy others' words. You also have made me a lonely depression patient in a very busy place. I must run away from you quickly. Hiding in my building. Who cares what season it is? I am going to have fun. 疫情形势下慢聊人生. Life in the crisis of the pandemic. Xiefeng. February 8, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Under the outbreak of a large-scale pandemic, doctors, nurses, and morticians have the most difficult and dangerous jobs. They are like running back and forth on a death line every day. A moment of inattention, and one might become infected and taken away by the king of hell. It has been found that the three occupations listed above are high-risk ones. From now on, we will have deep respect for workers in these three fields. We find that in extreme situations, freelancers who can change their living situations at any time according to their needs are the safest, while civil servants, soldiers, police, employees of state-owned enterprises, medical workers, and the like, who are the nuts and bolts of the state machine, do not enjoy the right to choose freely where they will work. They can only bite the bullet, whether they like it or not. It turns out that freelancing is often the best way to live our lives. The virus broke out and many people fell. Yesterday, they might have been planning for their futures with ambition. Today, everything suddenly collapsed. They themselves even disappeared. No one knows what will happen tomorrow. In this case, we should live every day well. Any behavior or motivation that deliberately weighs the pros and cons are worthless in the face of future changes. What do people rely on for a lifetime? Their state? Their political party? Their religion? Their family? Their friends and relatives? No, none are reliable. The only things that one can trust in are the greatest creator and themselves. Where is the safest place? A city? A rural area? At home? Abroad? Nowhere is safe. The safest place is in the quality, merits, and blessings of your own life. Mankind's fate is destined, but the fates of those who revere the greatest creator and walk the way of the greatest creator can be changed. The fate of human society is also doomed. Read Lou Bowen's inscription of Rescue of Catastrophe, then relate it to the status quo of today's pandemic. We know that everything is predestined. However, if one walks along the roadmap of life genuine, today's catastrophes can be avoided, even reversed. 10 years ago, I warned repeatedly of the crises that mankind will face and created the modern Noah's Ark for mankind, the new oasis for life, formerly the second home. But not many people listened to me, let alone followed me. Not only did the government not listen to me, but they even attempted to destroy my Noah's Ark. Not only did people not support it, but they ridiculed, satired, mocked, attacked, and verbally abused it. Now, as people face various crises helplessly and are worrying with fear on the verge of death, I want to ask them, why do you not act according to the will of the greatest creator? Why do you not listen to the teachings of gods, Buddhas, and celestials? Do you think that you can escape punishment and death by power, money, or academic status? Laugh not so early and be not complacent about your relative's safety today. More violent events will strike you later. Heaven exists, so why not go there? You seem to prefer your fast track to hell? If you do not believe in heaven's existence, the new oasis for life production and life mode created by Life Genuine is right under your noses. It is alive, so why not believe in it? Even if you do not believe the facts in front of you, what else do you believe? Everyone ages, so what is the best way to do it healthily? When a husband and wife are aging together, no one can take care of them. Is this not sad? Even if you can go to a quality nursing home, even if you have children to take care of you, and even if you enjoy elderly benefits like the ones that are offered in Canada, even the world's best old age care methods cannot be compared to those of the new oasis for life. They are substantially different. Their benefits cannot be described in tens of thousand words. Why do you not praise them and yearn for them? Today is the Lantern Festival, where the flower market is as bright as daytime. Where is the scene of thousands of doors opened, lanterns lit, the capital boiling in the Lantern Festival of January, countless palace ladies dancing sleeve dances, and the music of singing and dancing straight to the sky? Is it now the whole people? It is the Lantern Festival in my hometown now. I am sitting in a remote, lonely village. Can you still hear firecrackers exploding? Can you still see children laughing and playing games? Can you still smile and laugh for the joyful scenes of girls searching for their favorite people under the lanterns and of, when the moon hung behind the willows, the young people went on dates under it? But in the crowd once and again, I look for her in vain, when all at once I turn my head and find her where lantern light is dimly shed? Where are the good old days? Who ruined our good times? Will next year's Lantern Festival reappear with its past grandeur? Even if it does, can you guarantee that you will be there? People think that the most visionary people are in the United Nations and in the courts, But reality tells us that behind the red lacquered gates, wine is left to sour and meat to rot. And those who really care about the suffering of the people might be civil workers doing their jobs in society. 不要把自己看成一碟菜. Do not regard yourself as a dish. Xiefeng, April 5, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Gaze up at the starry sky. The universe would still be brilliant with one star missing. Look at the river flowing. It would still surge forward with one stream missing. Recall history. The earth would still rotate if a sage were missing. Consider yourself. The world would still be happy without you. Be humble, low-key, ordinary, common, and do not regard yourself as a dish. Looking back at every landscape that I experienced on my journey through life, I found that many people descended sadly because they took themselves as a dish. Zhang Guitao, one of the founders of the Communist Party of China, was once the vice chairman of the central government of the Chinese Soviet Republic. He was the leader of the Red Fourth Army and commanded 100,000 soldiers. What a powerful pillar of talent and command. He finally froze to death in a shabby nursing home in a suburb of Toronto, Canada. Why? Because he took himself as a dish. When the Central Red Army led by Mao Zedong and the Fourth Red Army under his leadership joined forces, Mao had only slightly more than 10,000 soldiers left while Zhang had more than 100,000 elite soldiers. Zhang felt that he should be the boss and he began looking down upon Mao. So their strife, both covert and overt, began. Zhang finally left the party central committee, left the collective, and his ending was very sad. Genius is born and Mao was placed here by the greatest creator. Though Mao was sometimes impoverished, his courage, bearing, and foresight could not be compared to the elites of his age. When Mao's comrades took themselves as dishes, their tragedies became inevitable. Life at Chanyuan has been through 17 springs and autumns, and many members who regarded themselves as dishes have left it along the way. Originally more than 2,000 Chanyuan celestials, now less than 200 or 300 remain. The remainder are all honest people who feel that they are not dishes, but it is precisely these remaining 200 or 300 Chanyuan celestials who have witnessed the history of the development of life at Chanyuan, and they have enjoyed the stunning scenery of their journeys through life and life. In 1994, I drove a dilapidated, open-top Jeep through the jungle alone in the Binga region of northern Matabeleland province, Zimbabwe. As I entered a small town, a large group of people gathered around a drunken native and yelled at him. As I arrived, he rushed over to me and shouted, "This is my boss. This is my boss." As he pointed his index finger toward me, I felt that my dignity had been violated, so I replied loudly and sternly, "I am not your boss. I am not your boss. Stop." The drunken guy meant to flatter me, but he was criticized by me, so he walked away a little grimacingly. The booing people laughed at him, but on the other hand, they seemed to be calling me an unworthy creature. I later became annoyed and regretted it. My attitude